Hello students, welcome to our online sessions. Myself Mr. Arun Jadhav, and we are going to learn a subject called Environment Education and Water Security. Students, our today's topic is interdisciplinary nature of environment. And in today's topic, we are going to learn some definitions related to the term environment. After studying these definitions, then we'll try to understand basic components of environment. There are four basic components of environment about which we are going to discuss in our session. So let us start with some definitions. The first term that we are going to learn is environmental studies. What does environmental studies mean? Environmental study deals with every issue that affects living organism. Environmental study deals with every issue that affects living organism. It is essentially a multidisciplinary approach that brings about an appreciation of our natural world and human impact on its integrity. So this is about the term environmental studies. Now let us talk about the word environment. The word environment is derived from the French word environ, and meaning of the French word environ is surrounding, and therefore environment is nothing but our surrounding. When we think of the term environment, the first meaning that comes in our mind is environment is nothing but our surrounding, or everything in our surrounding is nothing but environment. So this is the first meaning that comes in our mind when we think of the term environment. As the term environment is derived from the French word environ, which means surrounding, therefore meaning of the term environment is nothing but our surrounding, or everything in our surrounding. So this is all about environmental studies and the term environment. Now let us try to study some definitions. The first definition is environment. As said earlier, when we think of the term environment, the simple meaning that comes in our mind first is everything in our surrounding. But what does our surrounding contain? It includes all aspects of the world around us in which humans, animals, and plants live with non-living things. It means environment contains, our surrounding contains various living and non-living things. So this is the definition of environment. It includes all the aspects of the world around us in which humans, animals, and plants live with non-living things. Now there is one more definition of environment given in Environment Protection Act of 1986, and this can also be used in our subject environment. The definition which is given over there in Environment Protection Act of 1986 is environment is nothing but the totality of living things, non-living things, and interactions among and between them. Environment includes all the living components, right from microorganisms up to the wild animals. It also includes all the non-living things, water, soil, air, temperature, etc. And along with these living and non-living things, environment also contains continuous interactions that are going on among and between living and non-living things. These interactions are also an inseparable part of environment because existence of living and non-living things is ultimately dependent on the interactions that are going on among and between living and non-living things. And therefore, one more definition of environment is equal to living things, living components, plus non-living components, plus interactions among and between them. So this is also one more definition of the term environment. Then the second term is ecology. Ecology is the science that studies the relationship between living organisms and non-living things. So ecology basically is a branch of science that deals with the relationship between living organisms and their non-living surrounding. As I said earlier, there are continuous interactions going on among and between living and non-living things, and ecology studies the relationship between the two things, that is living things and non-living things. What kind of reactions are there, and all these reactions are studied in detail in ecology. So ecology is the branch of science that deals with the study of a relationship between living and non-living things. Then the third important definition is environmental studies. Environmental science. Environmental science is nothing but a systematic and scientific study of our environment. Environmental science is a special subject which is studied at graduate or postgraduate level, and environmental science means the systematic and scientific study of our environment. It integrates knowledge from various fields like pure science, ecology, engineering, management, social science, and other aspects. So environmental science is nothing but systematic study of systematic and scientific study of environment. The next term that we are going to learn today is environment education. Now environment education is the broader concept than environmental science, because environment education studies environmental science along with its socio-economic aspects. Environment education is a subject concerned with the learning on all environmental issues. Environment education covers all the aspects of environmental science along with socio-economic aspects of environment. So environment education is a subject concerned with learning on all environmental issues. It has a wider coverage than environmental science or ecology. It also includes the social aspect of the environment. So this is all about the fourth term, that is environmental education. Then the fifth term is environmental degradation. Environmental degradation is nothing but environmental losses. So environmental degradation is nothing but the damage caused to the environment due to various anthropogenic and natural activities. Now, environmental degradation is nothing but the damage caused to our environment, and this damage is caused not because of natural activities only, but human interference is also one of the largest contributor of environmental damage. Some natural processes are definitely there, but if we compare anthropogenic activities and natural activities, then the contribution of anthropogenic, means man-made activities, is much higher as compared to that of natural activities. Therefore, for environmental degradation, we humans are largely responsible. Then the sixth important definition of the term is environmental conservation. Environmental conservation is nothing but the process by which we can protect and control the damage caused to our natural environment. The process by which we can control and we can protect our environment. We can control the losses caused, we can control the damage caused to our environment. Our activities like protection of forests, preventing hunting, killing or poaching of wildlife, to turn barren land into forest land. So these are the activities that help to protect, that help to conserve environment. These activities can be included in the process of environmental conservation. Whatever we do towards protection of environment can be included in the process of environmental conservation. So this is all about the six definitions that we have learned today. The first definition is the term environment. Second is ecology. Environment is nothing but the totality of living, non-living things and interactions among and between them. Second is ecology, which means the study of relationship between living and non-living things. Third is environmental science, that is the systematic and scientific study of our environment. Fourth is environment education, which means the study of environment along with its social aspects, which is a broader concept. Fifth is environmental degradation, which means the damage or damages caused to our environment due to human activities and natural activities. And the sixth is environmental conservation, which means the process by which or the processes by which we can protect our environment, we can control the damages or the losses caused to our environment. So this is all about 6 definitions which are related to the term environment. Now after studying these definitions, let us move towards the next point, that is basic components of environment. Now there are 4 basic components of environment, namely atmosphere, second is hydrosphere, third is lithosphere, and the last but not the least is biosphere. So we are going to talk about all the 4 components in detail. Let us start with the first one, that is atmosphere. Now atmosphere, the first component of environment, is nothing but the gaseous layer around the earth's surface. So atmosphere is nothing but gaseous layer around the earth. Now this gaseous layer around the earth contains various gases, or in other words, in simple words, we can say that atmosphere is nothing but mixture of gases around the earth. Now though atmosphere is mixture of various gases, 99% of our atmosphere is composed of these 2 gases only, that are nitrogen and oxygen. Because if we take a fresh non-polluted atmosphere, then in such a fresh and non-polluted atmosphere, amount of nitrogen present is 78%. So 78% of our atmosphere is composed of nitrogen alone. Exact proportion is 78.08, which is approximately equal to 78. And amount of oxygen present in fresh and non-polluted atmosphere is 20.98%, approximately equal to 21%. So 78% nitrogen and 21% of oxygen, is the total of this is 99. So 99% of our atmosphere is composed of nitrogen and oxygen only, and all the other gases are there in remaining 1%. The gases like argon, carbon dioxide, and some other trace elements, other trace gases. So this is all about the composition of our atmosphere. Now after studying composition of atmosphere, let us talk about layers of atmosphere. As we all know, atmosphere is divided into 4 layers. There are 4 layers of atmosphere. The first layer of atmosphere is troposphere. The lowest layer of atmosphere is troposphere. Then about troposphere, there is a second layer of atmosphere, that is stratosphere. Strata means layer. So here is the second layer, that is stratosphere. The third important layer of atmosphere is ionosphere or mesosphere, and the last layer is exosphere. So these are the 4 layers of atmosphere. Let us talk about all these 4 layers in detail. Let us start with the first one, that is troposphere. Now as said earlier, troposphere is the lowest layer of atmosphere. Troposphere is at about 12 kilometers from the earth's surface. So it has extended up to 12 kilometers from the ground surface. It is the lowest layer from the surface of the earth, and very important thing about troposphere is temperature decreases with height in this layer of atmosphere. As we go up in the atmosphere, in troposphere especially, temperature decreases. So in troposphere, temperature decreases with height, and the rate of decrease of temperature is 10 degrees Celsius per 160 meters of the height. So the rate of decrease of temperature, the rate of fall of temperature in troposphere is 10 degrees Celsius per 160 meters of the height. Now the temperature differs at different heights and at different layers. Now, although this layer is the smaller than other layers because width of this layer is almost 12 to 15 kilometers, and as compared to this, other layers or the width of other layers is very high. So though troposphere is the smaller layer in width as compared to other layers, it is very important as regards the weight of the air, and it covers 80% of the atmospheric air. So we can say that in simple words, we can say that 80% of our atmosphere is concentrated in troposphere, and therefore this is very important layer in atmosphere. Other elements of air like vapors, water molecules, dust and microscopic organisms are found in this layer. This layer is very important and useful for the life of living organisms because this layer contains rain, wind, storm, hail, snow and clouds. So these elements like rain, wind, storm, hail, snow and clouds are found in this layer of atmosphere, and because of this layer is very important, very essential for living organisms. Now exactly above troposphere, tropopause is there. So tropopause is also a layer, and which is a part of, we can say that tropopause is also a part of troposphere, but this tropopause is a layer that separates troposphere and stratosphere. This layer is an umbrella like coat of air which has a stable air. Rain, wind, lightning, clouds, storm, etc. do not exist in this layer of atmosphere. In tropopause, we do not found rain, wind, lightning or clouds or storm. Tropopause has a width of almost 1.5 kilometers, and temperature of this layer is about minus 53 degrees Celsius. It also contains high amount of dry ozone. So as said earlier, in troposphere, as we go up, temperature decreases, and when we reach to the layer tropopause, temperature decreases to minus 53 degrees Celsius. This is all about troposphere and tropopause. Now let us move towards the second layer of atmosphere, that is stratosphere. Now stratosphere is the layer which is located between tropopause and stratopause. So here is the layer of stratosphere which has been located in between tropopause and stratopause. The height of this layer keeps changing according to season. Height of the width of stratosphere keeps changing according to season. Temperature remains constant in this layer up to certain height, but beyond 32 kilometers, temperature increases in this layer. Temperature increases because heat from the sun is absorbed in this layer, due to which heat is retained, and as temperature increases in this layer is called as isothermal zone. So the layer or the zone of stratosphere where temperature increases is called as isothermal zone, and this temperature increases because sun's heat is absorbed in this layer and hence temperature is retained. Now the extension of this layer is much higher in summer than in winter, because during summers temperature is high and therefore extension, the width of this layer is much higher as compared to that of winters. The air in this part of atmosphere is sparse, and humidity, dust, clouds, etc. are not exactly the same. Now, very important part of stratosphere is ozonosphere, which is also called as a ozone layer. In simple words, we say ozone layer. So this ozone layer or ozonosphere is a layer of ozone which covers at a height of about 20 to 35 kilometers from the earth's surface. So here in this picture we can see ozone layer over here. So this part of stratosphere is the ozone layer which covers at a height of about 20 to 35 kilometers from the surface of the earth. When ultraviolet radiations from the sunlight come in contact with oxygen, they are processed and ozone gas is produced. So ultraviolet, what happens basically is ultraviolet radiations from the sun, when they come in contact with oxygen molecule gets separated into oxygen atoms, and a single oxygen atom comes in contact with oxygen molecule to form O3, that is ozone. So this is how ozone is formed in this layer. This ozone layer absorbs the harmful ultraviolet radiations coming from the sun, and hence temperature of ozone layer increases. So here in ozone layer temperature increases because ultraviolet radiations are absorbed, and as these ultraviolet radiations are absorbed in this ozone layer, these ultraviolet radiations are very dangerous to the living organisms, and therefore this ozone layer is called as protective umbrella of the earth. But today, due to increasing pollution, this ozone layer is becoming weak, especially chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFCs, are responsible for depletion of ozone layer. And this depletion of ozone layer has become a serious matter in terms of survival of living organisms, because without this ozone layer, living organisms cannot survive on this earth. So this is all about the second layer of atmosphere, that is stratosphere. Stratosphere is the second layer which lies in between tropopause and stratopause. This layer temperature remains constant up to certain height, but beyond 32 kilometers temperature increases, and this zone is called as isothermal zone. This layer also contains ozone layer, ozonosphere, which covers at a height of 20 to 35 kilometers. This ozone layer absorbs ultraviolet radiations, due to which temperature of ozone layer increases, and as ultraviolet radiations are harmful for the living organisms, therefore this ozone layer is called as protective umbrella, because ozone absorbs UV rays. Now the third important layer of atmosphere is ionosphere. Now ionosphere or mesosphere is the layer found beyond the stratosphere which lies in between stratopause and mesopause. This layer found around 360 to 400 kilometers from the earth's surface, which is until the end of the atmosphere. It extends from 104 to 112 kilometers from the surface of the earth. Now very important thing about ionosphere is radio waves travel from this layer to the earth, because of which we can listen to the radio. Only 1% of air is present in this layer of the total atmospheric air. So of the total atmosphere, only 1% of atmosphere is concentrated, is found in the third layer, that is ionosphere or mesosphere. The top of the mesosphere, called mesopause, which is the coldest part of the earth's atmosphere. In mesopause, the temperature recorded is almost minus 90 degrees Celsius. So temperature up to minus 90 degrees Celsius has been found in mesopause. Jets and balloons don't go high enough in this layer. So this is all about the third layer, that is ionosphere or mesosphere, which is found in between stratopause and mesopause. This layer extends from 104 to 112 kilometers up to 360 to 400 kilometers. Radio waves travel in this layer, because of which we can listen to the radio. Only 1% of atmosphere or air is found in this layer, and the layer that is mesopause, which is exactly above mesosphere, is the coldest layer because temperature up to minus 90 degrees Celsius has been recorded in mesopause. And now let us talk about the last and fourth layer of atmosphere, that is exosphere. Now exosphere is the outer layer of atmosphere, which extends from 500 to 750 kilometers from the surface of the earth. At a height of about 490 kilometers, radio waves of a temperature of 1700 degrees Celsius has been detected through rocket and radio waves. So again, in exosphere, temperature increases, and the highest temperature recorded is 1700 degrees Celsius at a distance of 490 kilometers, and this temperature has been detected through rocket and radio waves. This exosphere contains neutral atoms of oxygen, helium and hydrogen. At a height of about 2000 kilometers, a neutral atoms have an effect called magnetic circle. So the effect called magnetic circle is found at a distance of about 2000 kilometers from the earth's surface. And this is all about the fourth layer, that is outer layer of atmosphere, that is exosphere. Now after studying all these four layers of atmosphere, let us talk about importances of atmosphere. Why is our atmosphere important? Our atmosphere is important because weather happens here in this layer. Now what is weather? Weather is a condition of atmosphere at a certain place and time. As weather happens here in atmosphere, therefore atmosphere is important. Second important thing is atmosphere makes life possible on our planet. Atmosphere makes life possible because of oxygen. Not only because of oxygen, but oxygen is one of the important part of atmosphere, because of which life is possible. Now this oxygen is produced by plants, and this oxygen is again used up by various other living organisms for their survival. And as this atmosphere makes life possible on this earth, therefore it is important. One more important thing is atmosphere keeps surface warm, and this in simple words we can say that atmosphere maintains temperature balance, and this temperature balance of the atmosphere is maintained because of greenhouse effect. And in greenhouse effect, role of greenhouse gases is important. And the last important thing is atmosphere protects us from harmful ultraviolet radiations because of ozone layer which is there in the atmosphere. As atmosphere or the ozone absorbs ultraviolet radiations, and as ozone is present in atmosphere, therefore atmosphere is important to us. So this is all about importances of atmosphere. We'll talk about other three basic components of environment in our next session. Thank you.